Good morning. Thank you for joining us for the October version of Visit Broken Arrow podcast. I'm joined here today by Aaron Hoffner, who's the Marketing Communications Coordinator for Visit Broken Arrow, and I am Michaela Barton, the Tourism Manager. So today we just wanted to review our meeting that happened last week and just go over those things and maybe a couple other things. So how are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. So let's talk first about sponsorships and grants in our department. It's one of the main things that we spend our time on, and because this happens almost every meeting lately, which is great, we've got a lot of things going on. Let's just talk about kind of that structure and how that works for anybody that may be interested or just curious about how that works for our department.
Right. And I think the main thing to understand about our grants and sponsorships is that all of our money is coming from that lodging tax. So every time you stay at a hotel, you pay that lodging tax, that money comes to us, and that's kind of our sole funding source for these grants and sponsorships. So really that's outside dollars coming in to support these events that go on, or the tournaments, or whatever the grants may be. So yeah, but we've had some really great ones this year, some really exciting ones. I know in this most recent one we did the Gatesway Powwow, which I think went well. We haven't heard back from them yet. And then what else did we have at this board?
This one was all about film.
This one was all about film, so
Yeah.
that's been a whole other section of grants and sponsorships that we've done this year. That's exciting, which you can probably talk better about where that funding came from, because it's the same but slightly different, the film incentive.
Yeah. So back in February, as you know, we, you and I kind of were brainstorming about how to make this happen. You know, film is a huge thing at the state level, and we just wanted to make sure that we were standing out somehow. And what better way than to just kind of use a little bit of an incentive to make us stand out. So the pilot program, as we've talked about before here, is $100,000 is kind of what we're starting with. And the idea is that these filmmakers that come into town will get 10% back, 10% rebate on anything that they spend, any money that they spend in Broken Arrow. So we know that there's a lot of cost that goes into making films. So whether they're bringing their staff and their crew to stay at our hotels, building sets, catering, food, transportation, all of those things. Basically, they come in and they prove that they spent that money, and then they get 10% back on that. That's kind of the gist of that. So we have had a lot of interest in this. It's definitely statewide and I think region-wide, and we've been getting a lot of interest. And I know that you've kind of been receiving some of those calls and being part of that. So
Yeah, it's been really exciting, and I'm so proud of that incentive that we made, because it's really simple. Like, there's a lot of probably incentives in this world for film, and I think we made ours simple but also effective for the Broken Arrow community. Like, we're not just giving away the farm, you know? And so I think it's worked really well, and it's made working with these filmmakers very easy and made them want to come back again and again and again. Because as you said, like, if you just walked around like the Horrified set, for example, there was all sorts of random stuff that they had to buy to build these sets. And you're talking like going to Lowe's, like any kind of hardware store, and going to Walmart and finding all these like just random things that they needed to buy in the Broken Arrow community, which just is, you know, tax dollars back in our pocket to fund our parks and our roads and our, you know, and that sort of thing. And so that's where these events, for lack of a better word, these films have been so amazing, I think, for our community, just from a, you know, sales standpoint, you know?
Yeah.
And they're also just really exciting to work with. Like, I think the community's excited to see these things happening, because it's not normal in Oklahoma. Well, it's becoming more normal, but for the longest time, it was all happening in Hollywood, and now it's kind of it's spreading out a little more, which I think is really cool to share that wealth across the states, you know? So
yeah, it's great.
Cool.
Well, and we're still learning kind of what the impact will be. You know, we heard from Horrified that they said specifically that they probably would not have come to Broken Arrow had it not been for the incentive. It was better than we imagined, and they also just said it was money that they wouldn't have spent here. So we're still waiting to get those final, you know, the final bills from them, the final receipts to see, and then we can kind of look at the impact, which was kind of the point of the pilot program, is to just try it, see what the economic impact is, and if it's something that we want to continue to do to make it a permanent part of our program, which so far everyone is thinking that this is something that we definitely want to cling on to for long term. So at this meeting last week, we had our second official application, and it's for a new film that will be filmed in Broken Arrow. It's a almost $6.8 million budget film, and they came in and they said, we know we're going to spend. They started out saying $1 million, and then she went to like $2 to $3 million, and so just that alone is very exciting. Again, they would not have been working so hard to be over here and be in Broken Arrow specifically and spend money here if it hadn't been for this little extra push. So that's a big deal. They're going to start filming. When did they say?
November. About mid-November, they're going to start filming, which is going to be a very exciting November because, in Broken Arrow, we have all of our Christmas activities start. So we'll have that going on, and then we'll have this film production going on. But I'm excited for this film, too. It's bigger than I thought it was. And so that's where it's really exciting. And I've also already seen, this film crew, there's some familiar faces from the Horrified film crew, they're all connected to each other. So I think just establishing those relationships and showing that great customer service that the city of Broken Arrow can show them, I think is really going to keep them coming back again and again. So
yeah. Yay. Well, I'm excited to see how this turns out again. So this second film application has pretty much wiped out the pilot program. And so at this point, our job is to, get this one wrapped up, provide everything that they need. And then from there, we will be able to report back, determine what the impact has been, and then decide what we want to do moving forward. But we're kind of in it now. So, and this has led us to what is now going to be Film Festival 2026. Yeah. So that is very exciting. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So there's a few festivals across, Oklahoma and the region that happen already. But I think one of the main things that will set us apart in this film festival is the film festival / film convention aspect that we're going to do. And so we're working with Brad Heath, who is in the industry, and he's going to help us on the film festival side because I've never put on a film festival. I haven't been to a film festival, but he knows all about that industry, so he's really going to run that. And then I think we're going to have a partnership to kind of put together the convention side because there's a lot of vendors out there that I think it would really marry everything together, whether it's talent agencies or production companies, or even if you're a hardware store and you've had a lot of business lately because of these films. Maybe you get in there, get a booth and, sell what you have to sell to all these industry professionals. And I'm sure people are thinking who's going to come to this? But the industry is very different now than it was before in one aspect, and it's also bigger than ever because it's very easy to make a film now. You can do it on your iPhone and it'll look just as good as, these big production movies that are happening. And so pretty much anyone can make a movie nowadays, which means these big, streaming services are kind of looking at other avenues to pick up these films because it's kind of cheaper to buy it from a no-name than it is, a big name. And so I think that's kind of that route that we're looking at, is finding these films that are just trying to get their name out there, get a little award stamp on there to show, some credibility to their film, and then just opening that up. So it is a much bigger industry than I think people even realize. It's not just the people in California making the decisions. It's spreading like wildfire, basically. And so I think being a part of that topic and that conversation is also going to put Broken Arrow on the map in a lot of ways. It's going to be really exciting.
Yeah.
So
it has been a very fun conversation. I know Brad Heath, who has created Broken Arrow Film Festival LLC for this event. He's a dreamer and I'm a dreamer, and I'm looking at how is this going to impact our community, and he's looking at how is it going to impact the film industry. And I think those two things together are going to make this really great. So we're excited about that for sure as well. So let's talk about Christmas in Broken Arrow.
yes,
It's your favorite thing to talk about.
always.
So it's coming up soon. We start our Christmas season pretty early, but I think people are getting used to it. So we like to be first and best. So
yeah, we do like to be first in everything, don't we?
Yes. Tell us about what is planned for this year.
Yes, so I'm so excited once again to be bringing back Christmas in Broken Arrow. We're kicking it off on November 13th, which you said is early, but we do like to beat everyone, and get in there first to turn on our lights for the first time. So that evening, we'll turn on all the beautiful lights in the Rose District, the Christmas tree, and we'll have so much activity going on Main Street. It's really an amazing sight to see. It's just a lot of fun. And the weather's also usually nice, knock on wood, because it is so early in November. So we'll have Santa as usual. Mrs. Claus will be with him this time, so that will be really exciting. Grady Nichols is going to perform as usual. I'll have a second stage farther up north on Main Street that'll have some student dancers from theater arts and Broken Arrow Dance Academy. We're going to have a live reindeer, which is I'm really excited about.
Yes.
And then we'll just have some various characters running around, and Spiral Circus will be down here. The Grinch will be running around. So a lot of the same things we've seen, but something I'm super excited about that is new for us this year is we are going to have Okie Igloo Village down here in the Rose District. So that green space that's right next to Arts at 302, they're going to have rentable igloos, like those blow-up igloos that people may have seen before. And you can rent an igloo for an evening, bring in your own food and beverages, and just enjoy, something different down here in the Rose District, which I think will be a really cool addition down here. So I'm very excited about that. That'll kick off November 13th and run the whole season as well. So check out their website, go ahead and rent your igloo. I think that'll be a really cool addition down here. But yeah, that's our biggest event that we have. And then we'll have several other smaller events that go on. The second biggest one being Carols and Cocoa. We did that for the first time last year. But this year, I'm going to have Justin Eccles headlining it, and I think that'll really amp things up. He's an amazing musician with a wonderful story. He's a veteran, and he is going to kind of lead that event, and I think it's going to be a really cool addition. And so that is on December 12th, and it'll be right by the Rose District Plaza, so you'll want to check that one out too. But yeah, we'll have live horse carriages all throughout the season. We'll have Victorian carolers popping up, and all of our usual favorites will be going on this year, and it's going to be another really good season.
No, I've seen the list of all of the things because it's hard to keep track of. So where's the best place to go to see that whole list of events?
Yes. So if you just go to visitbrokenarrow.com, and if you /Christmas, or if you just go to the Christmas tab that's on there, I have them listed out in order, all the details you could possibly want on there. And that's ranging from everything the city's putting on to everything that the city's not putting on that I know of. So things like the Rudolph Run or the Christmas Parade, those things are on there too.
Yeah.
And another cool thing I'll give a shout out to is Broken Arrow Community Playhouse is doing It's a Wonderful Life this year. So I also have those dates on there if you want to go see that play. It's a wonderful, Christmas movie that everybody likes. And so they're bringing it live on the stage. And so that's something you can check out too.
Wow. What a hallmark downtown.
I know.
I'm so excited about
it's
this.
so fun.
Well, thank you for your help in explaining what we've got going on. Lots of work to do. Excited for Christmas. We should probably be busy every night in December. Actually, November and December.
And December. You should be here every single night and spending your money.
Yes, perfect. Perfect. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.